Dato' Sri, I've got two questions. First one relates to, when we speak to, or when we read the papers, Barisan leaders seem to be quite confident about elections results. And likewise, when we speak to opposition leaders, they also seem to be quite confident. Somebody's going to be wrong. Maybe you can comment on that. Secondly, I want to ask you, what is your view on Iskandar Malaysia? It's come up quite strongly. Singapore seems to also like it quite a bit. If Pakatan Rakyat wins, will it slow down? Will it continue at full pace? Or what? Thank you.
Sri Tan Chee Ming, congrats. Now, we have a very big bureaucracy, and we don't want to go down the road of Egypt. Neither would we want to go the road of Greece. We don't want to go the route of Egypt, where you have a lot of unemployed, especially among the Malays that have gone past the universities and now are not in line with the market. How do you handle this situation? But yet at the same time, the bureaucracy is so big, and there's been complaints from one sector against that it's a mono race. So you have a lot of problems at hand. So how do you handle all this without erupting into racial strife? Thank you.
It goes to businessmen too. You start a business, you think you're making lots of profit. But I think we have to realistically assess surveys conducted, all the limitations to surveys, because if you look at the Merdeka Center, similar surveys, they ask you, do you agree with government policies? No. Do you think government is corrupt? Yes. Do you think that they are managing the economy badly? Yes. Do you support Najib? Yes. So when you look at these answers, you should do it in an intelligent, very few, unless you are really free or independent, you have the courage, be able to answer, reply in a frank, honest manner. I mean, look at this conference, quite a number who have actually agreed, have been told to stay away. And this is rather odd. I mean, after all, you listen, you don't tend to agree. I mean, you don't necessarily need to agree. You can even remain opposed to Pakatan Rakyat policies. But this is the position, and this is the system. What is the classic statecraft of an authoritarian or semi-authoritarian regime? Is, of course, media control. Is a culture of fear, but no one, no survey indicate that also. I told Azmin, and probably I was the exception, because going down on the ground, looking at the levels of support, I was very confident. Now, in these elections, based on these surveys, the fact that the numbers of business community people, civil service in the armed forces coming up, it is unprecedented and open. And I think they also are able to assess, and it's also a concern. Many of them say, I mean, the Deputy Chief of Army says, no condition, I'm not interested to contest, I don't want to be active in politics, I don't think I should be a member, but I will support Pakatan Rakyat because I want to save this country and to be part of a small contributor to make sure that we save. And if this mode is real, then we actually talk about the Arab, like the Arab awakening, like they call it Arab Spring. It's more an awakening where people suddenly realize, look, enough is enough. Enough to racism, enough to corruption, enough to abuse of power. And people get to know. In 2007, I remember the Merdeka survey. Corruption is actually not a concern for the vast majority of Malaysians. Slightly more concerned among the Chinese, but much less among the Malays. Now, in the latest surveys, other than economic hardship, corruption is high on the agenda, which means these years of effort to disseminate information, people get more information and therefore more aware. Now, this Iskandar, we support, as a policy, we will support these programs. We will not dismantle necessarily all projects, like agreements. But if we have some specific provisions that's clearly flawed or fraudulent or which actually benefit one sector, which is certainly not fair or conducive, then we have to relook. But the Iskandar project as a whole, there's no reason why we should be opposed. The only concern expressed is that no Johorians benefiting. I mean, in terms of contracts and tenders, and I think in any government, particularly in a developing country, you must allow for some form of participation. No Bumiputra or Chinese or Indian company in Johor under the law. This is a major issue of concern. And I think, though you say you have a transparent policy, tender, etc., but you must be, you just protect the interests, at least of Malaysians, particularly Johorians. Otherwise, you have a project that's completely does not seem to serve the purpose. This has got a major issue, and I think we have to relook at it. I'll get the team to relook without compromising the basic principles. I mean, there's a problem to draw the line between intervention in awarding contracts, which must remain transparent, open tender, at the same time to cater for the requirements and the need. I remember when I was a finance minister, we get World Bank loan to build this vocational schools. The World Bank would insist minimum contract 80 or 120 million. We said no, we can build the vocational school at the cost of 40 million. So there was this concern, and then even for 40 million you have to have international tender. I would have raised some form of objection, because I think we should allow, at least for a 50 million or below, or 20 million below, you should allow for an open tender among local companies. I mean, this is an issue. I don't think it's cast in stone. We will have to still look at the regulations, because we have a lot of anger among Johorians because of the failure to cater for the interests of people in the state. Now, on bureaucracy, yes, we have come up with a strong statement on reform of bureaucracy. I think we have to be very, very careful here not to cost the nation among the bureaucrats for now. It has been more efficient, no compromise. Promotion based on merit, no compromise. And therefore, the intake has got to be based on merit, but it will take some time. I was invited by the new Tunisian leadership to visit Tunisia, meet the cabinet, meet majority of the MPs, and I observed the floor. I mean, I know President Morsi, and also Rashid Al-Nussi, who is the supreme leader somewhat in Tunisia, but the floor is, because the Arab awakening came as a surprise. Unlike our position here, we came out or submitted or presented to the mass, to the Malaysians, our agenda, very clear, transparent debate about and discuss, reasoned discourse, and you can anticipate the sort of policy that we're more inclusive in that regard. We have still, although UMNO says that we are no more Malays, the majority still in Pakatan are still Malays. We have a substantial, credible representation of Chinese, ethnic Indians, and for the matter, Sarawakian and Sabahans. And so there is therefore a sort of a difference when people talk about this transition in Egypt or in Tunisia. And we have clearly defined policy. People roughly know what to expect in this new government or administration. But I am mindful about your concern about Egypt, the turmoil, and Greece. That is why you can say, for example, how do I respond to the issue of bureaucracy? I mean, to be very blunt, it's highly sensitive. The Malays will say, okay, fair enough, you want to reform, but then unemployment of the Malays very high, particularly the Malay graduates. Yes, there is a lack of representation among the ethnic Chinese or Indians, which we will have to handle. And in the first few years, we should show signal that we must move in that direction, but also to appeal to the private sector to allow for the intake of qualified Malay professionals. So I think that sort of more balanced and nuanced policies, we should be able to resolve some of these problems.